Hello, good afternoon, guys. I hope you guys are doing fine. Welcome to this live video. Today we're going to be chatting about humanitarian parole, something known as a humanitarian parole. Humanitarian parole, okay? And then we'll take a look at a recent case involving Afghanistans and what we're doing to help them, and everything about humanitarian paroles, hopefully. Okay. Welcome, everyone. If you happen to watch this live video later, don't forget to like and follow our Facebook page and share the video with your friends and families who need a fabulous U.S. immigration attorney to handle their case for them. And if you're watching on YouTube also, you're welcome. And don't forget to, of course, subscribe to our channel. New channel, still a baby channel. Okay, so let's talk about the humanitarian parole. So humanitarian parole is a process that is used to bring somebody from outside to the United States for a temporary time due to an emergency. So humanitarian paroles are granted for emergencies. Okay, welcome. Drop me a comment, let me know where you're watching me from. So to be eligible for what is known as a humanitarian parole, you have to have a compelling emergency. And what is a parole? A parole is just a travel document that gives you entry into the United States. So with that document, you can board a plane and show them that, look, I have permission to actually enter the United States. You don't need a visa for that. You don't have to have a visa. A parole gives you entry. Once you have the document, it can give you permission to actually come into the US, and you have to have a compelling reason again, okay, to be able to, first of all, oh my gosh, what happened? For some reason, oh, thank goodness, I went off, my screen went off. Okay, so we're back again. You have to have a compelling emergency, and there has to be an urgent humanitarian reason. What does this mean? It means that it's an urgent need. So, for example, what's happening in Afghanistan, as you guys have all heard about the Taliban's taking over and killing people or whatever. And people, the Afghans are trying to evacuate the place, the country, the people who have worked with the U.S. government who are being targeted. And so based on that, USCIS is now accepting applications from, Afghan nationals. And so we're filing these applications on their behalf. And the reason is that there is an urgent humanitarian reason why they should be granted access to enter the United States and then seek refuge here. Okay, so that's an example. Also, there could be a compelling reason, like maybe you have your mother who suddenly died, and the funeral is in, let's say, 2 weeks. Well, you may decide to apply for a B2 visa, a visitor's visa, and then file an expedited application in order to come here for a funeral. But also you could probably do a humanitarian parole where there's a compelling emergency, and then this requires you to be in the US within a certain time, and so you file it. And one caveat is that you cannot, it's a caveat given by the US government that you cannot use this parole process to actually circumvent normal visa issuing procedures. So you can't say that, oh, I'm in a hurry, I don't want to wait for a long time, so I'm just filing a parole just to get into the US, because now the visa wait times are very long. So let's say if you're filing for a B2 visa and your interview is 1 year away from today, you're like, oh gosh, I can't wait, I have to come and do my handbag shopping in New York and in Los Angeles, so I'm filing a parole. Handbag shopping is not an urgent humanitarian, reason, or it's not. It has to be of significant public benefit, okay, to allow you to enter the United States temporarily. So it's for a short time. Paroles are normally granted for about 365 days. That's about a year, and then you are allowed to come in, and then you can adjust through other means, maybe asylum, refugee, or if you have a family member, you can adjust to get a green card through the parole document that you have, okay, or as a parolee. So yes, you cannot use the parole process to avoid normal visa issuing procedures. or to bypass the immigration procedures. Guys, drop me a comment. Let me see where you're watching me from. Let me know you guys are here with me. So if you are, okay, no, we won't go there. So basically that, so anyone who can file parole, anyone can file a humanitarian parole, an application for a humanitarian parole. So this can either be filed by yourself, the person actually seeking entry into the U.S., or it can be filed by somebody on your behalf. So the person who's seeking entry into the US can file it themselves, or it can be filed by somebody on that behalf. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I just got the notification that my device battery is running low. It's been a crazy morning. We've had a number of consultations, in-office consultations, and I've been all over the place. So we couldn't charge my devices for the video. Please forgive me. So hopefully I haven't even checked how. Oh dear, yeah, it's quite low, but it's fine. I think we can do about maybe between 5 to 10 more minutes, and then we can call it a day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. So to file a parole, there are forms you need to fill, of course. The I-131, which is the application for a travel document, and then you need to do the form I-134, which is the affidavit of support. So for the I-134, the equivalent in family-based immigration is I-864, but here you do the I-134. The I-134 is a tax consideration form, and you need to establish that you have a sponsor, somebody who's sponsoring you. So even for paroles, you cannot become a public charge to the U.S. government. Remember, U.S. is really interested that they don't want people to come milk them dry. So even though you have an urgent humanitarian need of coming to the U.S., you should have a sponsor, somebody who's going to be financially responsible for you. And so the I-134 is a document that takes information about who your sponsor is, where they live, how much annual income they are making, who their dependents are, how many dependents that they have, that they're going to be, it's a contract again, that they're going to be financially responsible for the parolee, the person who's, applying for the parole, that they're not going to become a public charge. They're not going to be taking food stamps. They're not going to be taking public benefits. Just because you're on, you have the parole doesn't mean that you can come and live off of the taxpayers' money here in the US. They want to make sure that you are covered for financially, and you won't have too many issues. So that's what the I-134 is for. That's the affidavit of support. Okay, so of course these have to be completed and signed, and depending on who's petitioning and who's the beneficiary, you need to be careful, because the I-131 and the I-134 are a little confusing. Of course, the I-134 is by the sponsor, but the I-131, you need to know who's the petitioner. Is it the person themselves? Okay, the person who is seeking parole themselves, who are petitioning for themselves, or it's somebody else petitioning for the people who are seeking entry into the United States. Okay, so those are things you have to be careful of. And again, guys, look at what I'm sipping, something really delicious. So you, as you know, when you're filing the U.S. immigration forms or filling the forms, you should have the petitioner, you should have the beneficiary, and the right people should sign the right places. The right biographic information should be at the right place. If it's not, your application will be rejected. So that's where all these considerations come in. And then there's a fee, of course, the 575 fee. Sometimes it could be 660 if you have to pay biometrics, depending on the type of application you're filing. But so far for the Afghanistan cases that we're filing, we're not doing any biometrics, because of course most of the beneficiaries of the applications, the beneficiaries of the applications are all in Afghanistan, and the U.S. consulate or embassy in Afghanistan, in Kabul, has been closed for some days now. So there's no way to actually even take their biometric information. So no biometric fees are being collected currently for those types of applications. Okay. Let me see if there's something else we need to talk about. Yes, with the I-134, there has to be supporting documents. We can talk briefly about the supporting documents. As I told you guys, it's a tax, it's a tax document. That's how best I can put it. So first of all, you will need supporting documents from the sponsor. Okay, the sponsor, they need to submit an ID, a photograph, a photo ID of themselves, so, or of their status, so their US passport, and then maybe their birth certificate, or their green cards, copies of that. You need the 2020 tax returns, of course, of the most recent tax year, which is 2020. So the 2020 tax returns or 2020 tax transcripts. And then we'll need that W-2 as well. That's what shows the salary, or 1099 if they're independent contractors. Okay. And then recent paychecks or a letter from the current employer outlining the salary. This is just to make sure that, you know, you kind of have some job security, because they don't want you to file for somebody and the next time you're losing your job. So they kind of just want to make sure you have a job and you're going to be paid, you know, within the next few months, and you're going to have a job simply to be able to take care of the person you are bringing in. And then your 3 months of recent bank statements. So the last 3 months before the application, you need to submit those documents for the I-134. Guys, drop me your questions, your comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Okay, so the next thing is also, as part of the application, we submit a signed statement from the petitioner outlining the basis of the humanitarian parole, or the reasons that they want to actually file the parole. So what type of danger are they in? What supporting evidence do they have? If they are Afghans, okay, did they ever work? Did family members ever work for the U.S. government? Are they being directly targeted by the Taliban? Then we also include country conditions as well as media reports. And the country conditions is just, you know, a report documenting what state the country is in. So we have country condition reports, and then media reports also, you know, detailing what's happening, people hanging off of planes, to show that there is a compelling urgent humanitarian need. And then, of course, we'll need documents from the beneficiary. So we're talking about, you know, the Tazkira. Of course, that's for Afghanistan's. But then if you're not Afghanistan, any type of photo ID, then 2 passport-styled photos. And then if there's a petitioner, also we need, you know, the status of the petitioner document, like a U.S. passport, and maybe a birth certificate or a green card of the petitioner. Okay, so pretty much that's the overview, brief overview of all of this. I hope you guys have benefited from this video, and the concept is clear. You know, you file a humanitarian parole if you have an urgent, compelling reason. If you have an urgent or a compelling reason or a compelling emergency. And remember that this type of application is very discretionary. It's a discretionary type of application, and it's reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So to be eligible, you have to make sure that you have a compelling reason, and you have to tell them, you know, you have to tell the USCIS, the U.S. Immigration, why you believe you have a compelling reason. So all of those things are, again, have to be very strongly crafted to actually demonstrate that there's a need for the parole to be granted. Okay. Okay, perfect. So one last final consideration, or one last comment, is that humanitarian parole can be used to bring somebody who is otherwise inadmissible to the U.S. for a temporary period. So you could be inadmissible, but you could get a parole to the U.S. If you're inadmissible, it could be based on many grounds, like for health reasons. Okay, to protect the U.S. public, sometimes if you have certain diseases like tuberculosis, you are inadmissible to the United States based on health reasons, because they don't want you, again, sitting in an Uber and coughing on people, or going to, you know, restaurants like the Cheesecake Factory and then coughing on everybody, and then people start getting the disease, and then there's a public emergency. So they try to protect the people here within the U.S. So if you have certain types of diseases, you are inadmissible. In the past, AIDS was part of the diseases, but that was removed. So having HIV/AIDS no longer makes you inadmissible to the United States. All right, guys. Yeah, we're still spilling the tea. Well, today we're spilling the juice, right? Not the tea. So I think I have covered all the bases, and let me see if there are, you know, any questions or concerns. If there are none, then I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and please take care. Bye-bye.